See what happens. All right, it appears we're live on YouTube. So welcome everybody. Today is August the 22nd, 2021. And believe it or not, I know that those of you that watch seminar are thinking, what else could be said? But here we are. And hey, I appreciate you guys coming on live. I appreciate all the YouTubers, and we are going to talk a little bit about some things from seminar, but we are on a mission to finish our little summer school, and we're on week number 7. Can y'all believe it? And some of you have been with us the whole entire time. And of course, your goal was to do 30 faces to at least save $200 from your sales, to do something really awesome for yourself or your family, like a little goal, to at least watch 6 out of the 9 summer school. And then, you do all that, you guys will be, super trained. So we had a wonderful seminar. In the chat, if you registered and watched seminar, just give me a little thumbs up so I'll know about how many of you did that. But tonight we are going to start off with Rosie, and she is going to read us a little bit about one of our National Sales Director Emeritus. And this is one of my favorite gals, and she's going to talk about her a little bit. And it's Miss Kathy Halou. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. And then I'm also going to, hang on just a moment. There we go. Nope. Yes. All right, hang on, you guys. I got so many screens open right this second, you would not believe. There we go. And then I am going to, Rosie, where you at, girl? Okay, I'm going to spotlight you.
I printed it off because I was afraid I couldn't read it.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem.
This is even better because it has light behind.
Right, however you need to do it. So
okay,
anyway, so
Kathy Halou is one of my favorite NSDs, and we got to see her. What was a couple years ago, I think it is now, since she retired. But I'm just going to read some of her statistics up at the top. Her I start to hear affirmations. That's not what I meant. Her theme song is I Like Your Style, career highlights, Cadillac driver since 1982. That's 39 years. I know, because my firstborn was born in 1982. That's a long time. #1 sales director in the nation twice. #1 at Sapphire Seminar 5 times. $2 million circle once. $1 million circle 5 times. Circle of Excellence twice. $500,000 circle twice. Circle of Achievement twice. Millionaires Club. She's earned more than $2 million in commissions during her Mary Kay career. Wow, I love her story. You guys will love this. Come on down, the announcer shouted. With those words, I was randomly selected to be the next contestant on The Price is Right game show. I was 27 years old, wore very little makeup, and was a sun worshiper. I also was on medical leave from my job, having been diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. As a form of therapy, my husband Daniel took me on an extended vacation to California. For fun, we visited television shows, never dreaming I would be selected as a contestant. When I accidentally guessed the correct price of a computer, that took me out of contestants' row and on stage. If I could correctly guess the price of 4 items, I would win a new car. I only got 1 item correct, and instead of a car, I won an assortment of Mary Kay products valued at $56. The company then followed up through a local consultant and offered me a complimentary facial. I was so impressed, I purchased another $63 in products, and with that order, the consultant left a Reader's Digest article about Mary Kay. As an executive secretary for a Fortune 500 company, I was not interested in selling makeup. In truth, I lacked confidence and suffered from a very low self-esteem. However, my husband read the literature and began a crusade to get me involved in Mary Kay. For 1 year, I refused to even listen. Finally, I reluctantly agreed to be a model at a guest event. I took a friend with me, and when the evening was over, my friend had decided to start her Mary Kay business. Well, I couldn't let her do it without me, so I signed up too and placed a $2,400 consultant order. It was November 1981, and I didn't even unpack my showcase until January 1982. There had been a blizzard, and my sister asked me to come over and conduct a class for her neighbors who were bored out of their minds after being cooped up in the snow. Well, it was the world's worst class. They read the flip chart while I assembled my showcase. The class lasted 4 hours, but in the end, one wanted to buy and one wanted to book. I was on my way. I began selling and booking, and I was beginning to really enjoy myself. My sales director then challenged me to start building a team, and I began my string of 17 consecutive gold medals for recruiting. That put me into sales director qualification. With the help of some fabulous women, we debuted with 51 unit members and a new pink Cadillac in 1982, 11 months after signing my beauty consultant agreement. The leading ladies began an immediate climb, reaching the $300 circle of achievement in our first year. My simple goal of earning a new diamond bar pin each year enabled us to take 10 top sales director trips around the world, drive several pink Cadillacs, and develop 22 fabulous first-line offspring sales directors. All of that led us to the $2 million mark and a new company sales record. Both our daughters were born during my Mary Kay career. Jordan and Sydney came home from the hospital in a pink Cadillac. My children were surprised to learn that not all Cadillacs were pink. Ours is truly a family business. From the very beginning, Daniel has been actively involved, and as the girls grew older and wanted to help, they too became involved. Mary Kay's golden rule philosophy permeates our family. The children have learned to trust in the Lord, the value of setting goals, a strong work ethic, positive self-image, compassion, service towards others, and strength of character, to name a few. They also believe that all things are possible to them. What a tremendous gift Mary Kay gives our families. My creed today is choose the best, release the rest. I am grateful to the Lord and to my family and to Mary Kay for her vision. She truly had a magnificent obsession to help women, and she has given us a powerful legacy which we will carry and pass on. Isn't her story awesome? I think the most intriguing part, what really catches you, I think, in that is reading about The Price is Right, because she makes her kind of famous, and I love, that she did not earn a car. She got Mary Kay instead. Look at all the things that had to be orchestrated, and all the things she had to say yes to for everything to go just the way God planned it to go. I love that. And I bet she didn't even care after, not earning that car after she earned a pink Cadillac. I mean, I bet she never gave it another thought. And I love the part where she didn't even open what she ordered until November. 2 months later, could you get something from Mary Kay and not open it for 2 months? I don't know how she did that, but I didn't know until I read this that if you, of course, I don't personally know her, but I've seen her on stage and she just permeates with self-confidence. She's just a real go-getter. She's a little feisty, I think, when I've seen her on stage. And who would have ever thought that she lacked self-confidence? She suffered from an eating disorder. She was on medical leave from her job with a Fortune 500 company. Who would have ever thought that somebody like Kathy Hillou had ever lacked confidence? So look what Mary Kay has done for her. Look what Mary Kay has done for her family. And so the other part, I think one of my favorite takeaways is her first party. What a fiasco, a 4-hour party. And she was unpacking her stuff while everybody else was reading from the flip chart. I mean, how could it go any worse than that? I mean, except people bought and, obviously it turned out well. But see, no matter how your first party goes, it's okay because Kathy Hillou screwed up too. So anyway, I love that she revealed sides of herself that, we only see the end product. We don't see some of the things that it took to get there. And I know she wasn't sharing everything with us, but she shared some probably pretty low points in her life. And, if she can do it, then we can too. So I love that story. Thanks for letting me read it, Cleta.
Yes. And thank you for doing such a great job. It's funny because, as you started reading, I'm like, I forgot Rosie was a school teacher. She does so great at this. So thank you so much. And, if you'd like to hear a little more about Kathy Hillou, if you go to Mary Kay In Touch and you click Video Lounge, and then there's my why stories, and one of the features is on Kathy Hillou. And she gives it's a really moving story. Her, even from like way past, like after, like the rest of the story after this story that that Rosie read. You ought to go back and listen to it. It's really moving. It's really neat. And she talked about how her voice is really kind of high, and that she had been into job. They're like, you'll never make it. We can't stand the sound of your voice is irritating. I mean, some things like that to her. And of course, she's one of the most successful nationals. So thank you so much, Rosie. I appreciate that. I think it's so interesting to hear from these national sales directors emeritus. And it's good that we don't let them, I mean, of course, and Kathy is still quite young. I mean, she only retired a couple of years ago. And so I think it's good just to remember her and what she gave to the company. So thank you so much. Okay, you guys. So in our Mary Kay autobiography, the chapters we were supposed to read today was chapter 11 and chapter 12. And so these were short chapters, so I don't know how many of you had the chance to read them, but if you haven't, you may want to go back and look at it. So I'm just going to go over those kind of quickly. So the first chapter on chapter 11 was plan your life the way you plan your vacation. And you guys, this is so true. And she just talked about how when someone, like, let's say your husband came in and he said, hey, September, I've got 2 weeks off. We can go anywhere we want to go. We can spend, $8,000. So just plan it. Let me know. And let's just go. Okay. So you all of a sudden you're like, oh, all right. So you decide where you're going to go. You decide how you're going to get there. Then you decide where you're going to stay. And then you decide what you're going to do every day and what you're going to eat and all the activities and different things that you do according to where you go, and you got it planned and you go, and it's a wonderful vacation. And she talked about, like, no matter where you go, she said, for example, let's say you go to the beach. Well, she said, you kind of got to get used to new things like the sun and the noise and sand in your sheets. Still, you go to the trouble because why? It's fun to go to the beach. And she said, and then maybe you travel to a new city. And she said, you got to have a map to get around. You might get confused. You're on like one-way streets you didn't know, hidden expressways. You spend half a day walking to the top of the Empire State Building or up every single monument at Washington, D.C. And all in all, it's a very hard job, but you do it. Why? Because it's an adventure. Okay. And then she said, and some people walk miles across a strange European city when they could take a cab for a 3-block journey back home, but they do it because it's a vacation, and vacations are for expanding your horizons and learning about new things. So she talked about what we need to do is plan our life as much as we plan our vacation. And that she said, why can't we approach our every day of our professional life in Mary Kay with the same enthusiasm and spirit of an adventure you devote to a hard job of vacationing? Why can't you expand your horizons, learn new things, and most of all, have fun? And she said, I think you can. There's 3 things you have to have. 1 is a job that you truly love. 2, you have to plan that work day with the same kind of detail as you would as you're planning vacation. And 3rd, you have to start looking at your career as if you expected to have some excitement and some fun. And so, I think that is really good. Even on the top director trips, we get up early in the morning and we eat. And then let's say it was in London. We get up early, we eat, we meet downstairs, and I'm talking like 8:00. We're going and we are doing a walking tour, and we're going through the castle, and we're doing all this stuff. And I mean, literally, I would look at my, like if you have an Apple Watch and you have your little circles that you try to fill, like during the weeks of the top director trip, those would be the highest weeks for exercise for me, because I would get in 15,000 steps or whatever, and because we wanted to see stuff like that. So it is so true. So she said, and I think all of us have found, you wouldn't be on this call tonight if you didn't think you had found your dream job with Mary Kay, right? I mean, obviously you're still here. Now, maybe some of you are brand new that are listening and you're hoping. So, you want to find out, she said, number 1 is what makes you happy. And then what's, the things that are important to you. She talked about how she was going to go in to be a doctor. And then she decided that a sales career would be more better for her strengths. And, she said, mainly you just have to have a plan. And without goals, she said, if you ever had a Saturday, you get up and you just really didn't have a plan, or you don't know what you're going to do that day, and you just kind of piddle around. And then at the end of the day, she said, you kind of maybe look back and said, I just did not even do one thing that I can say that I accomplished. She said, some people do that with their whole life, a whole week, a whole month, a whole year. And a year from now, they're the exact same spot or a little bit worse, right? So she taught us about really having a roadmap. And one of the things that this I really thought was good, And she said, and I want to y'all, if you haven't read this, you may not know the answer, but she said she was at a Mary Kay conference, and a beauty consultant came up to her, and she said she was so excited and she's so inspired, and she was going to go home and she's going to start doing $1,000 a week every week in sales. And she said, and so what do y'all think Mary Kay would say? Like, if you hadn't read it, you might think she'd go, that is awesome. What a great goal. I'm so proud of you. But what she said was, she said the only problem was at that time, she was only producing an average of $400 a week. So I suggested a smaller, more realistic goal, one of $500 a week might be appropriate. And I reminded her old saying, inch by inch, it's a cinch, and to break it down to daily goals so that she could sell $1,000 a day. And she says, and then once she hit it, change the goal to 600, like she would talk about that. And she talked about another one, that person that wanted to start I think it was a restaurant chain, no, a dress store. Let me see what she said right here. Anyway, yeah, dress shop. And she talked about she wanted to have it open in several large cities and have a national chain and go to different countries. And then so Mary Kay's advice to this career woman was, let's get one open in your town and get out all the kinks and make it the best store, and then open another one, And she said, it's good to have long-term goals, but you've got to have some that you can immediately go. And I've thought about myself on this. And a lot of times, we get out a seminar and we're like, all right, I'll just say for me, all right, I need to get 300 unit members ASAP. So if I got like 50 this month and 50 next month, well, I'd almost be there. Okay. So that would be awesome, right? However, if I'll go by what Mary Kay said, I might want to look and see what I have had, and let's have an increase, which is a big stretch, and let's have a success. Because sometimes you say like that's my goal, but I want it to where I can actually achieve something and go ahead this month. And Lori and I, we were talking about that a little bit, because there's one book that says half it, and then there's another one that says set big goals. So there's a happy medium in there, but the biggest thing is to break it down. So when I was at seminar and I wrote that down, I thought, all right, I mean, I know that $1 million sales directors have 300 unit members. I've been knowing that. I thought, now how am I going to get from what I am to 300 in the next 10 months? And also taking effect that people will quit. And so you'll have some people that'll terminate, how, and break it down to how many I need per month. So I came up with it, so I need about 16 a month to do that, and so, and now I've got to decide, okay. And so I wrote down a list of who could get those 16 people in my unit, including me. If I gold medaled, who could get the other, the other 11? And then I wrote down some names. I'm going to be letting them know later. They got to get them. But you know what I'm saying? Like, actually have a plan of who could help me with this goal? Who could I enlist with it? So I thought that those were some good tips on just having a plan and direction for your Mary Kay business. And then the next part was it was how to succeed in a man's world. And she really talked about the advantages women have, and that don't try to use your womanly advantage, which we have something called intuition, and men just do not have it. The Lord didn't give that to them. They do not have a sense of knowing when someone says one thing, they mean another thing. We know that. For example, like at a party, the girl's loving her makeup. She looks beautiful. She can't stop looking at herself. And at the very end, when you tell her how much it is, she goes, I don't know. It's just kind of oily on my skin. I don't really love it. Well, she knows, Mary Kay even said, a woman can kind of tell that that's not really what she means. So instead, you might say, hey, have you ever thought about hosting a party and get this product free? And then their eyes perk up and go, yes, that's a great idea. And so she said, use the gifts that the Lord gave you as a woman. And she talked a lot about image. And she talked about how, she always have her staff, not the people like in the warehouse, but like in the offices, they wear skirts and dresses to work. And she always asked us to wear skirts and dresses. And she talked about the respect that you get when you're dressed like a lady, that people treat you like a lady and men act more like a gentleman. And she gave some examples in there that were really good on that. And so I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just dress a little more feminine tonight. And so I threw on a flowery shirt that, I think is a very feminine shirt. And, I think, when you dress like that and you're out and about and you're trying to get business, you will stand out, because especially since COVID, everybody is way more casual, right? So when you dress up a little, even just a little bit, I'm talking about like you could wear flats and a cute dress, you will stand out so much at the stores that you're in, the grocery store, Walmart, wherever you go, and they'll be like, oh, what's she doing? and you know what? People will treat you different, and it'll give you that little edge of confidence to talk to people too. So I have found that like if I'm dressed super casual, let's say I just got on, a t-shirt and yoga pants, and then I see a lady that looks sharp, like she's got a dress on, her hair's done, her makeup, her jewelry, she's got a nice bag. And I found that if I don't look like as good as her, I'm probably not going to talk to her, because why do I want to teach her about beauty? I should go ask her what she does, right? So it just helps you be more open to talk to other people when you feel like you look good. And that's why a lot of times when we're out of town and we're on Mary Kay conferences and we all got our Mary Kay director suit on and we're running around eating and doing whatever, it's so easy to talk to the waitress. It's so easy to talk to people we run into because we feel like we look like $1 million and they notice us. So don't fight Mary Kay's original thought of keeping our femininity in this business, because I think it's going to bless you in your business. And even though I know we're cute on the top and pajamas on the bottom, but when we're out and about, we may want to get it all together again. Okay. So I thought it was 2 good chapters. So next week we will have chapters 13 and 14, and 13 and 14 are on, let's see what they're on. 14 is looking good and feeling great, and 13 is get your career off to a winning start. Okay, so I think they'll both be very, very good chapters. Okay, so I have 2 things I want to talk to you guys about tonight. The actual class is on following up after your party, doing the close, and we talked about doing the close, but then also the follow-up. And in the Ruby seminar, the class that was taught by Lauren Bloomer, she's a senior sales director and just happened to also be the Ruby Miss Go Give for all of the Ruby seminar. And she's just a doll. I remember her very first top director trip when I met her, and just beautiful. Her husband and my husband, they went fishing together in Alaska. And so she's in the Kim McClure area, but she did an excellent job. It's about 10 minutes or so, and it's very Mary Kay. In fact, when she was teaching, I thought, this is exactly, she has not been in near as long as I have, but it's exactly what Mary Kay taught. And so it's true Mary Kay training. And there were a few things that if you've already seen it once, you may not have had a chance to take notes, but if you have, sometimes it's good to hear it again. So, and I know some of you were in the different seminars, you didn't get to hear her. So I'm going to play this short video on follow-up, and that she does, one of the things she talks about is the questions to ask. And I think they're really good. And so when I was listening to it, I was not able to take notes. So I'm getting my piece of paper out and actually going to take a couple of notes on what she said, you guys. So I'm going to play this for you. Let me just find it real quick up here. Okay, there it is. And for those of you that are in a different seminar, let's give you a chance to see a little bit of our training, okay? Because they had all the different ones, they had different teachers. Okay.
And take it away. Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren Bloomer, and I'm thrilled, truly thrilled and honored to be sharing with you today. I started my business 9 years ago when I was teaching full-time, planning my wedding, working on a master's degree, and singing in a cover band on the weekends. And so I was in no way never to Mary Kay, but I'm here today because someone followed up with me. So I'm thrilled to be sharing about closing and following up. So in this hybrid model we are in right now, it's important to remember that closing is still one of the most important things that we get to do. Let me take you back to my first party. Are you ready? I had practiced my skincare class over and over. Multiple times I got it down. I did my class. And guess what? I handed everyone a catalog. Now, I knew better. I was trained on what to do, but it felt easiest when I got a little nervous. So I gave those catalogs and I stood around proudly waiting for the sales to roll in. And guess what I sold? A lip gloss. Okay. So the moral of the story, learn how to properly close to get the best results. Here are 5 reasons to do an individual close, whether you're in person or virtual. First, and most importantly, this is the chance that you get to build a relationship and find a new friend. Number 2, you want to make her feel important by listening to her needs and making her feel special. This is also where the actual sale and the purchase can happen. She can feel safe and comfortable knowing that you have her best interest at heart and that you respect her budget. Number 3, you can discuss her particular needs and help her find what she's looking for and affirm that it's backed with a 100% guarantee. Number 4, you can share the opportunity with her and see if she would ever consider doing something like this to potentially generate extra income. And number 5, you can book her for her follow-up appointment or for a party with a few of her girlfriends. The reality is that the group close is great, but it's the individual close that makes all the difference. It's personalized, and that's what sets us apart from other stores. The personal touch, the make me feel important attitude. It also customizes her experience. So now that we know the why, let's talk about the how. For in-person parties, I let the hostess know ahead of time that I'm going to need a location to do the individual close. This way, if they try to tell me that they can all check out together, they're all girlfriends, she knows that this is an important part of what I do as a beauty consultant. I let her know the value of meeting with everyone individually to respect their needs and their budgets privately. I get this space set up ahead of time so that I can move right into the close after the skincare class. So as I'm doing my welcome, I also share that I'm going to be meeting with everyone individually at the end. That way, they're looking forward to that moment. So we're at the end of the skincare class. I go over the closing sheet that has the deals and specials on it, and also on the back has a picture of the starter kit options. I briefly go over both sides so that they can see what is being featured, and I show the options about getting started with the Mary Kay business. And at that point, I ask, is there anyone that needs to leave early? Because if so, I'll choose her first. And if not, I choose the woman who seems the most excited. The one who's asking questions or participating the most. I say, Ashley, let me meet with you first. I then ask the same questions to every woman, and I want you to write these questions down. I do know that you may have been trained differently, and that's okay. You always want to do what your sales director is training you, but this is what I've done for 9 years, and it has worked for my business. So the first thing that I ask, and I always slouch down a little bit lower and I get super comfy, and I say, Ashley, first of all, thank you so much for being here today. Did you have fun? And she usually says yes. And then I say, how does your skin feel? And when I touch my face, she usually touches hers. Oh, it feels great. Then I ask if everything were free, and I'm showing that picture of all of the sets on the front. I say, if everything were free, what would you want to take home with you tonight? And I wait, and usually she gives me that, whatever answer she would like. Then I say, now I promise you won't hurt my feelings. Would you ever consider doing what I do to potentially generate extra income? And then I wait. And then I ask, what would you like to get started with tonight? And then my last question is, for your follow-up appointment, would you like it to be just the 2 of us, or would you like to invite us?
Because I know what y'all are thinking. You're thinking, now what did she say, number 3? So I'm going to I'm just going to back it up for 1 minute and let you hear these questions again so you can write them down. Okay, so let me just back it up. It don't let me. Hang on.
With a few of her girlfriends. The reality is that the group close is great, but it's the individual close that makes all the difference. It's personalized, and that's what sets us apart from other stores. The personal touch, the make me feel important attitude. It also customizes her experience. So now that we know the why, let's talk about the how. For in-person parties, I let the hostess know ahead of time that the skincare class. So as I'm doing my welcome, I also share that I'm going to be meeting with everyone individually at the end. That way they're looking forward to that moment. So we're at the end of the skincare class. I go over the closing sheet that has the deals and specials on it, and also on the back has a picture of the starter kit options. I briefly go over both sides so that they can see what is being featured, and I show the options about getting started with a Mary Kay business. And at that point, I ask, is there anyone that needs to leave early? Because if so, I'll choose her first. And if not, I choose the woman who seems the most excited, the one who's asking questions or participating the most. I say, Ashley, let me meet with you first. I then ask the same questions to every woman, and I want you to write these questions down. I do know that you may have been trained differently, and that's okay. You always want to do what your sales director is training you, but this is what I've done for 9 years, and it has worked for my business. So the first thing that I ask, and I always slouch down a little bit lower and I get super comfy, and I say, Ashley, first of all, thank you so much for being here today. Did you have fun? And she usually says yes. And then I say, how does your skin feel? And when I touch my face, she usually touches hers. Oh, it feels great. Then I ask, if everything were free, and I'm showing that picture of all of the sets on the front, I say, if everything were free, what would you want to take home with you tonight? And I wait, and usually she gives me that, whatever answer she would like. Then I say, now I promise you won't hurt my feelings. Would you ever consider doing what I do to potentially generate extra income? And then I wait. And then I ask, what would you like to get started with tonight? And then my last question is, for your follow-up appointment, would you like it to be just the two of us? Or would you like to invite a few girlfriends and take advantage of my hostess rewards? So let's pause for a minute. I ask every single woman these questions. I believe that if you will take these questions, write them on a note card, and not deviate from them, your results will get better and better. Your confidence will grow the more you do it. It also allows you to ask, even when you might be feeling a little intimidated or nervous, with the woman across the table from you. And I definitely get objections. They are to be expected, but the more you get them, the better that you are at helping them overcome their objections. So here are just a few examples. So first, if I'm showing the options and I say, if everything were free, what would you want? And she says, the satin lips. I love the satin lips. And I affirm that. And I say, oh my gosh, girl, the satin lips are fantastic. Now I realize you didn't mention the skincare. So can you give me some honest feedback? What did you think of the skincare? Because at that point, I want to know what she thinks of the skincare. I want to know that if I want to ask, if it were free, would she take it? So I always refer back to the skincare to get her opinion of that. The second option or the second scenario is if she said maybe to question 4, when I ask, would she ever consider doing what I do to potentially generate extra income? If she says maybe, then what I say is, you know what would hold you back? What would hold you back? Because in that moment, she's probably going to give me her biggest objection, and I'm going to quickly try to help her overcome that objection and see if she can make a decision. And if not, I'm just going to follow up with her. So the next one, the next example that I have is when I ask about, would you ever consider doing this for extra income? And she said, no. I say, girl, is this a not right now no or a forever no? And if she says a not right now no, then I absolutely ask if I can follow up with her. And if she's a forever no, I say, well, we still need customers too, and I appreciate you. And then the last example that I have is if she says, yes, I would actually consider doing this for extra income. Then I say, I'm so excited. Let me get the email pulled up. And I pull up the link right away, or I send her an email agreement. And we get her started that night. And you might be surprised how many women actually say yes and are excited on the spot because they've just had so much fun and you've just sold the Mary Kay opportunity. So those are the examples that I have for you. And of course, there's many, many other options and many other things that happened, but those are just some of them that I wanted to go on. So we're going to keep rolling here with the training. And let's transition now into closing the sale for an online party or a Zoom party. Now, closing virtually is a little more work, but just as effective when done properly. It is also important to connect with everyone. So whether you're doing a Facebook party or a Zoom, it's important to have a good close. Just like you would at your in-person parties, you should have a good flow, share part of your story, ask for referrals or nominations, and share your party specials. For Facebook parties, I like to friend everyone in the party so that I can connect with them one-on-one in Facebook Messenger. I think that's really important. I usually do start with a typed out message to welcome them, asking them if they want samples, and then I move to the voice messenger options to ask them the other questions. For example, if I were closing, I would say, hey, Ashley, thank you so much for being a part of Carrie's party. I hope that you had fun and enjoyed your samples. So if everything were free, girl, what would you want? Then when she responds, I ask the next question. It can be a little more challenging when trying to connect virtually, but there's fortune in the follow-up. And that's why I have some other ideas for closing virtually. First, I got this idea from $1 Million Sales Director, Jen Bessiker, and she taught us to use a blank tic-tac-toe sheet for them to use during the virtual party. They can fill in the spaces of the products that I'm mentioning and products that they would want in their bathroom during so that they're really staying engaged and staying focused. And then I ask at the end for them to answer 3 short questions. And I tell them, now this is really important, if they send me a picture of their board, their tic-tac-toe board, within the next 30 minutes, they're going to get an automatic free gift from me. Now we know women love free stuff, right? Like who else loves free stuff? So this helps so much because they're excited to message you because they want that free gift. So the questions I ask, here they are. Number 1, do they already have a beauty consultant, right? Yes or no? Number 2, free or me? Would you like to get your products for free by hosting your own virtual spa party, or no, thank you? And then the third question is, would you be willing to help me with some training and watch a short video on what I do in my Mary Kay business? Please write yes or no. So this allows for participation throughout, and most of the time, women want whatever I'm offering. And this helps me in the checkout process. It helps it to go a lot quicker because they're messaging me and they're excited. Another idea I have done was created a Google Doc form for my parties so that the guests can fill out and the hostess still gets credit. So I let them know that when they fill that out, that's how their hostess gets credit. And that allows the people who might fall through the cracks to respond to me. And this allows the questions to be answered. So I love those ideas for closing virtually, and they've really, really helped me in this past year. Lastly, breakout rooms are fun for the individual close too. If you're doing Zoom appointments, utilize those breakout rooms for that individual close. The girls can still hang out on their Zoom. With all virtual parties, let's face it, some are not going to get back to the messages, and that's why it's important to follow up. So one tip that I find helpful is having a list of each party you're doing, and keep a list of all of the women that have accepted the group, participated in the group, or attended the party. And this helps you to keep track to know who's purchased, who's booked, and who you need to follow up with. So that sheet has been really helpful, just keeping me organized with each of my virtual parties. But my pro tip for closing in person is to practice. Practice. Find another beauty consultant who will sit with you and practice going over those questions, and then go put it into action. Your confidence is going to grow the more that you do it, just like anything we do, right? Now write this down. Write this phrase down. It's so good. There is fortune in the follow-up. There is so much fortune in the follow-up. Following up is an important key to success. Maybe the most important thing besides consistency, in my opinion. There are many times in our businesses that we need to follow up, right? Check out these statistics. This blew my mind. 2% of sales or bookings are made on the first contact. Only 2. 3% are made on the second attempt. 5% are made on the third attempt. 10% are made on the fourth. And are you ready for this? 80% of sales and bookings are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. So what does that tell us? Following up is an important key to success. And also customer relationships are built in that consistent follow-up. I want you to think of how many times someone has texted you or messaged you and you responded in your head, but not to the actual person. I know that I've done that more than I care to admit, but because I have done that, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. People get busy and they forget. And also people's lives are changing every 2 to 3 months. So follow back up, ask again, and know that this business is mathematical. When we do the math, the magic happens. It will take some time scheduled in your day to follow up, but I promise you it's worth it. And it can help you build those relationships, trust, and a solid customer base. And don't worry about being pushy. Listen, pushy people don't know they're pushy. And when you have your customer's best interests at heart, you can know that this is just a part of what's necessary for success. Here's an example. Just the other day, I reached out to a girl in one of my Facebook parties for the 5th time, just to make sure that she knew the party was closing. And she said, "Oh my gosh, girl, thank you. My life is so busy right now with 2 kids under 2, and I added products to the cart and I never checked out. Thank you for following up with me." Wow. And now she's currently a hostess for me, a virtual Facebook hostess. You just never know what people have going on. So the follow-up is a must. And speaking of having our customers' best interest at heart, it's important, really important, to remember the golden rule philosophy, to treat others the way that you want to be treated. It's important because the women at your virtual parties, we want to make sure that they're already not being serviced by a Mary Kay beauty consultant. And you can do this by simply asking her experience with Mary Kay. If they say they have a beauty consultant, then we always want to send them back to their original consultant. Also, in the follow-up department, Mary Kay Ash taught us 2 + 2 + 2. That means that after the customer purchases product from you, we should follow up 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months after. This builds trust, and that affirms that 100% guarantee that we talk about. It shows the customer that you care, and it truly sets us apart from other companies and retailers. Your customers will appreciate it and know that they can trust you. Some other tools you can use to follow up with your customers. This includes My Customers Plus app, a fantastic way to get reminders for follow-up with your customers. Your website can remind you to follow up. And of course, there's always text, email, e-cards, and calls to your customers. So let them know that you just want to check in and you care. Lastly, I highly encourage setting up a private Facebook group for your customers to keep them informed, interested, and educated. It's a great opportunity to be yourself, to demo your products, and to keep your customers engaged, to help support a great reorder business for you and allow them to know you and to know your why. To sum it up, this business works when we do. Find another beauty consultant and practice closing. And I recommend that you schedule at least 20 to 30 minutes per day just for follow-up. I have found that when I have a strong close and I schedule time to follow up, my personal business continues to grow and my customers know that they can rely on me to be their beauty consultant. When they know, like, and trust you, you'll have customers for life. And I'm so glad that someone took the time to follow up with me when I said no, because if she didn't follow up with me all those times, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have the life that I have. I wouldn't be able to raise my 7-month-old son from home. So thank you so much. I'm praying that this is your best seminar year ever. And I love you. God bless you.
Okay, you guys, I know you can agree with me. There's no way I could have said that any better than Lauren said it. I thought it was phenomenal. I heard it once and even the second time. And so now it's on our YouTube. So if you need to go back and listen to it again, you can. But there's nothing really to add to that, you guys. And I will say that I know for me that I would not be a Mary Kay either had my consultant, Sandra, not followed up with me, because I said yes and then I said no. And then her probably woman's intuition said she wants to do it. She don't have the money, but she just kept on and on and on for 3 months until she finally got me to a sales meeting. And then I signed up. So you know what? Think about that. I know it was at least the 5th or 6th time for her to follow up with me. Then when I finally said yes. So when Lauren was talking, I was thinking, who have I only followed up with once or twice or even 3 times, but have stopped? So I thought about who are all the people I sent samples to that I did that, nothing came from it. Maybe text all them again and say, hey, remember that sample I sent you in June? Did you ever open the packet? Because you never know, right? And they'll feel guilty maybe and go, you know what, I didn't, or I did, and I didn't mean to call you. So we've got some people to call, right? So if it's worth booking, it's definitely worth closing, and it's definitely worth following up. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay, we are going to, how much time do we have? Okay, I wanted to show you a sneak preview of something. If you were at seminar, you saw this, but it's pretty awesome. And I think you guys will really, you will give you some time to study it. And it's called Suite 13. In fact, you might see it on my screen because there's a bunch of video backgrounds that you can download right now. And they just told about this at seminar. It goes live on September the 1st. Okay, so you have a little bit of time. We're not going to have time to do details, but I do want to at least show you where it is and show you just a little bit of it. Okay, so let me just pull it up here. First of all, no, this will be fun. Okay. First of all, how to find it is you will go to Mary Kay In Touch, and then you are going to look under education. Okay, you're going to look under education, and under education, you'll see Suite 13. All right, so this is a new kind of an app or a link. It's kind of a link that you can send to your customers. You can do parties with it. There's so much you can do with it. People can go to it and actually order straight from you from this. So let's go ahead. So you would just, okay, first let me just show you this. There's a lot of supporting materials. There's an appointment guide, how-tos, there's a tour map, there's digital library, there's videos that are going to tell you a little bit more about it. There's digital posts when it goes live that you can actually use to post on your social media. And then here are all the digital backgrounds. All right. So all of these are really good. I had a chance to just kind of look through all of them real quick. So if you click this right here, this is Escape to Suite 13, not the promo video, but this right here, this will take you straight to this. All right. So, and then you even have some kind of cool music if you want to turn it on or off. Hello, my name is Colson-Eyre, and I'm here to show you Suite 13. So I'm going to turn the music off for right now, even though it is super cool. And you can turn it off by just right over here. So this would be like, there's a couple ways you're going to use this. You can use this to do a party with your customers. All right. You can use this to just send them the thing and let them go themselves. So I just want to show you a couple of basics and give y'all a chance to go to InTouch, play around on it so you can get a little familiar with it if you were going to use it for a party. So first of all, on a computer, on a phone, I could just hold down my mouse. And, you know, if you've seen, like, if you ever looked at real estate where you have a 360 view, and I can just move this thing around just like this. And so if I want to go somewhere, first of all, anywhere that has a pink dot, you can click on it. So for example, right here, it says, I have a premonition that soars on silver wings. It's a dream of your accomplishment of many wonderful things. I do not know beneath which sky or where you'll challenge fate. I only know it will be high. I only know it will be great. And it said that this poem deeply touched Mary Kay and became the inspiration for a sculpture commissioned in honor of the Mary Kay 25th anniversary, which is pretty cool. And so anytime you click on one of these little pink dots, a little something will come up. So this says, we remember this is only a part of what you can experience. Your Mary Kay consultant can share more insights and tips with her. Contact her for a VIP tour. Okay. So if you click on any kind of little arrow, like if we want to go upstairs, okay, you're just going to click on it. And then it takes you like to the stairs in this cube. Then you're going to click on it again. And then we're going to go to a different, this is a different part of our little Suite 13, right? So there's a lot of places that you can go up here on the main floor. And you can kind of go around, not to make y'all dizzy, but there's a spa area. There's the where you have all the, well, let's just go there first. So once you find a place you want to go, you just would click the little arrow and then it'll take you to, this is our spa area. Isn't that neat? So each of these, say you're doing a party, or maybe your customers are just looking around, and they can click on each of these products. So this is the satin, the white tea and citrus satin body. And so right here, they can hit more details, a little bit about it, how much it is. And if they wanted to purchase it, they could actually just click on it and add it to their bag. And if they've shopped with you before, it'll automatically go with you. If not, it'll ask them who their beauty consultant is. Okay. So it has each of those individual things right there. Then you can kind of click over here, and here's your little wall. And if you see something like this, it says, reach for white tea and citrus whipped body cream when you need a bit more luxury, along with the shea butter is formulated with mango butter, sunflower oil, apricot kernel oil is clinically shown to instantly moisturize and keep your skin moisturized for 24 hours. Then you can kind of click on any of the products. Like I said, every one of them are on here, and they can order them, and you can talk about them. Isn't that neat? So all the spa products are right there. So then let's say you're finished and you want to go, oh, they also have, like, you see this big hand right here? You can click on this, and it tells you about moisturizing your hands in the satin hand set. All right. So then let's say you want to go over here. You just click on one of the little arrows, and now we're in a different spot. And these are supplements. It's a pampering spot here. So you see all the different serums that, you can kind of, y'all know what all these are, right? And so you can click on this little thing, and it says 13 of your favorite things. These are some of our best sellers right here. Okay. And so you could talk about those. So like at a party, you would not do all of these. You would pick an area, right? Okay. So then this is another area, and it has, as you can see, this is all the clear proof. And then if you see something like this, you see that it has the little eye, you can click on it, and it gives you a little bit more information. Did you know acne is caused by blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then it has all the different individual, like that's a different ingredient of it. And it's some before and after pictures. So pretty cool if you're doing a clear proof little class right here to show all those. And then in the background, you see different things. If it has an arrow like this, that means there's a little video involved. So if you're doing a party, and you might could say, let me show you a quick video. And it shows our eye makeup remover. And these videos are about 30 seconds. Amazing. Isn't that neat? And then to get out of it, you just click behind it and it stops it. So there's a video on the micellar water. There's a video on eye makeup remover. And then you can see all the different little things that you can click on here. All right. So let me just kind of flip around. So let's say we want to go over here. Okay, I'm back in the lobby. So let's see if I can go over here. Okay. So, and by the way, if you look up here in the sections, then you have all of this stuff. And then there is a guide on Mary Kay that you can click up. Let me see if yeah, right here. This is under the tour map. That's one of the supporting materials, and it shows Suite 13, and then it shows Wellness Bar, Terrace, Suite 13, Lounge, like all the different areas, okay? And then you can click on here like lobby, what all is in the lobby, and this is an idea of what to say right here if you were doing a little party, okay? And then it shows all the different descriptions of the different things and what you would say. So this is really good to look over when you're doing it. But anyway, once you get to a spot to get it bigger, you just click on it. So this is all the time-wise. So there's a time-wise video. There's all the time-wise products. You can click over here and you can see that's clinical solutions in this little room. So all of it is very slick, very high tech. They all have a little video. And I think that you're, the more you get kind of used to it, looking around, the more you're going to like it. Okay. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of it. They even have like a consultation corner, and look right here. It has a phone, and if this was your customer, there's a place right here. It says you deserve to be on speed dial even, so I don't know if when the customer looks at it, that'll have your phone number come up or not. But anyway, it's pretty cool. All the different things. And there's even one for marketing in here as well. One of the little rooms for marketing. So I don't have time to show the whole thing, but I did want to show you a little bit of it. So you have the tour map that you can look on Mary Kay. You also have some FAQs. All right. And then there's also an appointment guide, how to conduct an appointment and close the sale using Suite 13. And by the way, in case you didn't know, that 13, let me read you this in case you think, why is it called Sweet 13? It says the number 13 is a lucky number. Mary Kay. Mary Kay started the company on September 13th. Her office in the current Dallas Global Headquarters is on the 13th floor. The building happens to have 13 elevators. And so anyway, that's a couple of reasons why on that. So I just want to show you, this is a little homework for later. You at night, instead of playing games on your phone, go to InTouch, go to Education, and go right here to Suite 13. And you can find all of this information, familiarize yourself a little bit with it, and maybe watch some of the videos. And then when it comes out, we're able to send a link or do a party with it. You will look so smart. Now, I will say that if you didn't watch seminar, you weren't at seminar, you know, the first time you see this, you're like, huh? Now what? So don't worry. I said the same thing that today. Now I feel a little more where I can get around in it. So the more you familiarize yourself, the more you're going to love it. And what I think is pretty cool is that Mary Kay they know virtual is here to stay. So they're trying to do what they can to make us, no one else in the beauty business has something like this. Mary Kay is the first one, the only one to have something interactive like this as far as a cosmetic company. So this puts us a step above, you know, other things. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to tell you, a little insight about seminar, is about the Star Consultant prizes. You guys, and that'll go live, I think, in September the 1st as well. But you guys, we have always hated to waste our points. Let's say you had 2,000 points and you have an $1,800 prize, and then 200 points just go to La La Land. And I don't know about you, but I hated that. So finally, yay, Mary Kay, they're going to do a program where we can keep our points. And so if you don't want to have something on that quarter, you can keep it for the next quarter. You can even keep it over a year or two. And you can add up your points to do travel, to do experiences. There's going to be thousands of products that you can pick from. So anyway, you'll hear more about this in September, but I'm very excited about that. So for those of y'all that are in the higher categories and you're like, I just don't know, save your points and get something awesome. Okay. So I can't wait to hear a little more about it, but I did want to just give you those two things. So we are going to take like 10 more minutes. Well, I know some of you have your other calls. We'll just stop here. You guys save all your messages about seminar, because I do want to get your feedback on what your favorite part of seminar. So write some notes down, and maybe next week, after we do our two little things, we'll talk a little bit about seminar and what y'all like the best about it. Okay. And so, because I hate to go longer than 9, because I know some of us have a meeting right after this. So that's what I got tonight. Thank you all for coming on here and for paying attention. And I hope you got something out of it. I know I did, especially Lauren. And thank you, Rosie, for sharing with Kathy about Kathy Halou tonight. I appreciate you doing that for me. All right, everybody, if you're in my unit, you want to stay put, we're going to have our meeting right after everybody else.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.